honor your guys' time. So, boom, it's recording. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. I'm gonna mute everyone. Sorry. Um, and now I'm going to figure out how to share my screen. And I think I did it. So now we're gonna pull up my slides. Boom. Does everybody see what I see?
Yep, and then you can put it in slideshow mode and we're going.
Look at me. I'm so proud of me. If y'all don't know, I
You need to
suck
give
at computer.
yourself more tech credit.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing, y'all. All right. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button again. See, look, why'd you say that? You said, oh, look, Aaron, you're doing well. And then messed me up. Okay. Make it go away. How to minimize? Okay. Now, can you guys see all of that and only all of that?
You're going to have to do a description because there are some that are visually impaired.
Well, yeah.
What is it?
I mean, it's like laughable. But
What's happening? Y'all can't see it, or you can, or
I can turn on closed captioning. The comment was making sure that you just say things out loud for folks who might have accessibility or visual impairment.
okay, cool. Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Okay, so a lot of this is going to be super, super redundant, just so you know. Be prepared to hear the same information 40 million times. So first of all, this you don't need to worry about right now. We'll get back to that later. So the background of the Tim Tebow Foundation Night to Shine is that it's a simple vision to a worldwide movement where we work with churches around the country to provide an incredible prom night experience centered on God's love for people with disabilities. The event is made special because we raised all of our funds through sponsors and donors, which y'all was like, I think we're at like 22,000, 23,000 without the in-kind donations. So this is pretty amazing, guys. And we're like to the penny of how much we've spent. So I just wanted to share how good God is for that. That's so great. We were able to get 1,645 prom dresses that were donated, and we got to see girls say yes to the dress. Only about 110, I think, guests actually got dresses. So we were able to give away all those other dresses afterward, but it was just incredible that they had those options. Many girls will get to have their hair and makeup done prior to the dance by volunteer stylists and artists. And James Limousine and Virginia Limousine are donating all of our limos. And then we have different DJs, photographers, videographers, caricature artists, and vendors that are donating or reducing their price for their services. And most importantly, you guys are volunteering and giving back and making a difference and helping so much. So please know that we are so grateful for you. So now I'm going to start this video. This is one of 4 videos that we'll be watching this evening, in addition to listening to me. But this one is one of my favorites. So here we go.
I don't want to leave. Oh, brother.
Hey, Aaron, I don't know if it's sharing your sound.
It's not sharing the video
It's sharing the video, but we can't hear it.
at all.
No.
Hmm.
When you shared your screen, there was like a checkbox that probably said to share your computer audio, and you might just have to click that off. So stop sharing, and then we'll start sharing again and see if that setting comes.
Share. Sorry, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. I know nothing about what I'm doing. Okay.
You're doing great.
Share screen. Content only, share sound. Click, boom.
There you go. And now when you reshare, it'll play it.
Okay. JK, start over. Pretend
you to follow.
We're going to start.
In order As you prepare to volunteer at Night to Shine in your community, we have some best practices that we need you to be aware of and we ask you to follow in order to make this night safe for both you as well as our friends with disabilities. But before we jump into those practicalities, I want to share with you 3 pitfalls that I have seen ministries and churches sometimes fall into. And these are attitudes and postures that we want to be aware of and avoid. The first pitfall I call the pity charity mentality. Within the reality of mutual ministry, We must shed this cultural idea that you are doing your good deed tonight. Instead, you are coming to both give and receive. Our ministry does not flow out of pity for them and allow us to pose as though we are some sort of savior to help these folks. Nothing could be further from the way that Scripture reveals to us. Rather, we are aware of the mutuality of ministry taking place at Night to Shine. Our friends with disabilities have gifts and ministries that we desperately need in order to be the body of Christ that God envisions. Number 2, pitfall that we want to avoid, I call special angels. On the flip side of the notion we just discussed is this idea that our friends with disabilities have some special gift or supernatural power, or that they exist for our inspiration. Our friends with disabilities are not special angels with superpowers. There is no they at all. There is only us, and we all need Jesus, and there can be no othering. There is one human experience, and we each have unique lives, each have unique roads that we travel. We are inviting our friends with disabilities to bring their full self tonight to shine. Lastly, a pitfall we want you to avoid. I say it this way: if you are not comfortable, then we are not comfortable. And this is just a reminder to you to not just be nice and be uncomfortable the entire night. We don't want that to be your experience. We always want to be respectful and preserve the dignity of our honored guest in the way that we speak about things. But please feel free to ask for help or to signal your discomfort as needed to your volunteer team so that they may help you out. If you are not comfortable, then we are not comfortable, and we want to know about it. Now I want to highlight some of the best practices that will help us make the night the best it can be. We understand that each volunteer may have walked into the night with some sort of preconceived idea of what they were doing. And sometimes you will be asked to do something that is different than what you were thinking. Please be flexible and know that it takes all of the roles coming together to pull off a great night. Here are some guidelines that help Night to Shine run smoothly and safely for all involved. Volunteers, even those that are paired with a guest, are never to be alone with an honored guest at Night to Shine. For the safety of everyone, we ask that you adhere to this policy. Steer clear of empty rooms, restrooms, and any one-to-one situations. Never alone with our honored guest. All volunteers at Night to Shine need to wear visible name tags throughout the entire event. Let's talk now about the administering of medications. Night to Shine volunteers and medical personnel are not responsible for administering any medications. They must be administered by the guest's caretaker or parent. If someone tries to hand you medications or give you instructions to administer them, please inform them that you cannot do so and find a leader at your site to help them discuss this with. Now let's think about the space. All volunteers need to familiarize yourself with some things that are specific to your location. That would be these. Number 1, bathrooms. Where are they, and are they accessible or not? Secondly, sensory room and calming spaces. As some of our friends, as the energy of the night ramps up or gets loud, they may need these spaces in order to help them. Food and water. Where are these available, and how can you help steer your folks the appropriate ways to get there? And then lastly, being aware of stairs, of ramps, and of any trip hazards that are present at the night. Thank you for serving at Night to Shine.
Okay. I gotta go to the room. How does he go? Okay. Bear with me, folks. All right. Still can't get rid of this guy. Nope. Alex, make him go away.
It's paused on my side.
It's
What do
paused
you
right
do?
now, too. I don't know why it won't just go to the next page. Okay, there we go. All right. Yay. Pretend that didn't happen, too, guys. We're just going to edit all this out later on the recording. I hope you're laughing because I'm not. These are our wonderful sponsors for the evening, and I just want to take a second for us to all kind of look at them, study them, memorize them, and consider doing business with them because these people have given super generously out of the amazing, amazing goodness of their heart. So, just take a second, study. All right. Next. If you have any questions prior to the event, at the event, whatever, you probably already have my email and my phone number because I've been very bad at remembering to use the Cloverhill Church one. But just jot down this information if you need it so that you can make sure that you have access to any questions you might have. I'm going to take another second here if you need to take a picture of it or whatever. Some of you already have my number anyway. All right. Again, never, ever, 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 ever leave your guest alone. There is never a time where it is okay to leave your guest alone, even if they say they want space. If you're needing some help with that, just get someone else, but do not leave them alone. You can ask for help. The shirts are going to look better than this, but the medical people will be in orange shirts, and the info and the head honcho people will be in the blue shirts. Info desk, I have your shirts. I will probably not be able to get them to you before the night of, but I will have them there, and same with medical team. So you can wear whatever you want, and then we'll get those shirts. All right, going through the night. So this information is slightly different, so make sure that you are hearing me. It says on here to arrive at 5, but if you're late this is for buddies, then your guest will be reassigned. So we are actually going to be able to, by the goodness of wind transportation, be able to park at Manchester High School across the street from the church, and they're going to be busing us over in I don't know whether it's their charter bus or whatever, but they're going to be busing us over. So between 4:30 and 4:45, I would like volunteers to arrive. If you are a volunteer who is doing registration, like volunteer check-in and stuff, then you can park at the church and be a little bit earlier. If you are a hairstylist and you are or makeup artist and you are coming, then you can park in the main church earlier. But otherwise, if you are a volunteer, please park at the Manchester High School between 4:30 and 4:45, and there will be like a cone or something for you to line up, and we'll bring you over that way. If you are a buddy attending with your guest, then you can park in the regular parking lot. If for some reason we need to park at the school or it gets close to the end and you're running late or whatever, you can park at the church, but park far away, starting in the gravel parking lot in the back or whatever. Make sure that you leave as many of the spaces that are close to the building for the guests. And I do still need you guys to be on time because you can see on there, it says CCA leaves at 5 o'clock. The school that is at the church gets out at 3, but they have an after school program that leaves at 5. So we will be conflicting with the parent pickup. So we want to minimize as many people in the parking lot as we can. That way, if we're all over in Manchester and just taking the one bus over, it'll be a lot more seamless. It is a one-way in the entire parking lot going around the building counterclockwise. So just remember that if you are coming in. And so buddies that are arriving with their guests, you will come at 6:15. That is it for this. So again, check in by 5:15 or your guest will be reassigned. Get your lanyard and your buddy information, review it. You're going to pick up your wrist corsage, your boutonniere, and your giveaway bag. And then you'll write on an index card on there the information that you need to give to the parent. Make sure that when you talk to the parent or the caregiver, that you find out any other information, dietary needs, any triggers, anything like that, that they may not have put on there. This is especially true for group homes because they had a lot of applicants to put on there. And so sometimes they just got a little less wordy. So there might be some information missing that is easier to tell you in person. If you put your belongings in the bag, you can carry it with you, but make sure you get them out by the end of the night. I'm going to be going through this buddy stuff a little fast, mostly because the buddy training already happened. I know there are some buddies here, but if you have more questions later, we can always get back to that. So this is again about the index card. You can write your name and number on it to give to the parent caregiver so that they can call you at the end of the night to make sure that you can find each other. You want to have a plan ahead of time, not at the last minute. You'll park in the back. And then after check-in, you will see when you go and check in, I'll show you all this in a minute on the map. You'll wait in your assigned room based on your guest's last name. And then once your buddy comes, our buddy staging team will help you meet your guest. And then you guys will proceed to the red carpet that way. All right. You're going to introduce yourself, ask them if there's anything you need to know. Guys need to visit the Jude Lounge. So if your guest is a boy, we want them to visit the Jude Lounge, even if they don't care about being in there. It's just for them to get a shoe shine, for them to get a mint and a comb, and just feel special since the girls get to get their hair and makeup done. There is a coat check. If anybody needs to check their coat, they can do that as well. And then you're going to head down to the red carpet. There is in the lanyard for the buddies a lot of information. There is a name tag for you in the front. Then there is a name tag for your guest behind that. It is a sticker. Try and help them keep it on, taking it only off for the portraits, but I'll say that again later. But we want to make sure as much as possible that they keep that on. Everybody's supposed to have a name tag. And then behind that is the red carpet information. It's a little piece of paper that you'll hand to the MC, and they will be able to read your guest information. So they'll say something like, and now our guest, Jeff, really loves walks on the beach. And so he'll walk down and everybody will clap and scream, and it'll be amazing. Red carpet people, real quick, while you guys are on here, I know you're already going to do a breakout later, but if you want to make a sign that says something like, we love you, or you're awesome, or something like that, please do so. Nothing hate filled. So you should already have that though. All right, group home buddies, you'll arrive the same way. Parking behind the church though, there is a rear door and you will be registered separately. You'll grab your lanyards and your favor bag and your flowers, and all the group home guests, all the group home buddies will be in one separate room. And that way they will all come together when that group home is announced. And so all of the buddies for that group home will come meet their guests and go together inside. They will skip the red carpet first and go straight to eating. And then they will come back and do the red carpet just to try and help make everything flow a little bit better and avoid lines. You also still need to get their contact information. Buddies arriving with your guests come at 6:15. Your lanyard you'll have as well is still under the buddy's last name. Some of you guys are with your own family, so they'll have the same last name. And then you guys go straight to the red carpet first. Already went over this. So when you get in and you check in, you're going to go directly to your area of responsibility, and your team lead will help you get your name badge and check you in and everything like that. We're going to go over a map so you'll be able to see a little bit more of where that means you'll go. And you can ask your team lead. And then our breakouts at the end will go over that a little bit more in detail. Unless otherwise instructed, like I said, please wear a white shirt and black pants or all black. Info desk, you will be wearing blue. And if you are a buddy, then you will be wearing formal wear. So if you are doing another role and then doing a buddy, like I believe we have a hairstylist, you can wear whatever you want as a hairstylist part, but then you need to bring clothes to change. If you are a backup buddy, then you will dress in your amazing garb. And then if I were you, I would bring clothes to change, unless you would like to stay in the fancy stuff. But it probably would be more comfortable to make sure that you have other clothes, and just bring comfortable shoes, everyone. And just to explain, because I got a lot of messages about people's feelings being hurt. It is really hard to match buddies, and I did not intend to hurt anyone's feelings. We had a ton of people sign up as buddies, and that is amazing. It was so overwhelming. But you're supposed to match by first, whether or not they had a request, and then their age and their gender, and then by medical need if there's something that supersedes that. And we have a lot of people who are coming with their own group home caregivers or with their family members or friends or something like that. So please know that if you did not get to be a buddy, it has nothing to do with not being qualified or anything like that. It's simply the luck of the draw, because there were like maybe 40 people who were all 30 some years old, and we only had one guest who was 30. So just know that you are appreciated, you are seen, and I am so grateful for all of you, and it's nothing personal. Okay, so here is the map of the aerial view. When you come in off of Pole Street, that is down here at the bottom. And this gravel lot is in the very back. And you're going to go in, you're going to go counterclockwise around the building. This main entrance that you will see, it's called a main entrance, but we're not going in there. No one is going to be going in or coming out of that door unless the end of the night. The rear entrance back here is where the group homes will come in. And if you want to attend with your guests, you can. But then on the side, this registration entrance over here, this is where everyone is going to be coming in. And I know that seems like a weird space to do so, but there's a really long hallway right here. So if we get a line backed up from registration, it'll allow everybody to stand in line under cover and not be freezing outside. So that is that map. Leave it up here for a second if anybody needs to look at it for a little bit longer. All right, so now this is the main guy. This one, if you're, all right, if this is over here is that main entrance up here where it says door 1. So just to help you kind of orient yourself, this is basically upside down to the map we were just looking at. So over here is that main entrance to that long building I was telling you about. So when you come in, you're going to come in through this door. You're going to go down here and you're going to check in the volunteer right here where it says registration. And if you're a buddy, you're going to go to the room that is based on your guest's last name. You're going to check in under your last name. You're going to go to their last name. Group homes and backups, you'll be in this one room here, so it'll be easier to call you guys all out. So group home stagers, I need you guys in this hallway so that you can help using walkie-talkies tell people, hey, so-and-so is here. We need them to come out of this room, blah, 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 blah. All right. Then we have the bags and the flowers will be right here. So after you check in, if you're a buddy, you'll grab that and then go to your room. And then the coat check and the dude lounge respectively are right next to that. So that's kind of like the check-in area. After everybody gets registered, all the volunteers, you'll go to your own space, and this turns into guest registration. The group home registration stays out here down at the bottom behind main door 16. And after, again, everybody else gets registered, this door will only be used for going to and from the limos. And then when you see where it says hallway to main building, this is where you'll proceed after you get to be with your buddies, and you'll go down the red carpet where it says red carpet. You'll stand in line down there. You'll enter into the last door, the closest to the top, and meet the table hostesses, or the dining room hostesses rather, and they will take you to your seat, and you'll eat there and all that. If you are not a buddy, you have to eat before you come. We will have snacks, but we will not have meals for you. If you are a buddy, you will get to eat. So then if you look over here, there's the info desk. This is where those 3 people will be, 4 people, something like that will be right here. And right here behind the door, there's a set of stairs that I had to draw terribly because that is where the caregivers will be. So if you're in the caregiver space, you'll be upstairs in the balcony. You'll be up here. Right here, there's a long hallway. This is an open area. This is where the photo booth will be across from the bathrooms. And then you can see there's portraits. I don't know why this is all upside down. Sorry, guys. Volunteer room, face painting, dancing, medical area, games, caricatures. Sensory room is over here as far as it can be in the corner. And more games. I may or may not keep that there, but there is another bathroom over here as well. Guests and buddies can use, and volunteers can use these bathrooms here. But if your buddy needs to go to the bathroom, or if your guest, if your guest needs to go to the bathroom, you are 100% not expected to take them to the bathroom. If the caregiver has said that they would like to be a part of it, you can let them know because you should have already exchanged contact information with them. But otherwise, you will just let the nurses that are in there handle that. We will have nurses and EMTs that are staged in various spots in the bathrooms and around just in case anybody has any needs, especially in the dancing area, because we're not going to have strobe lights, but just in case anybody gets overheated or something like that, there may be seizures. And so that will be over here. We'll need to be aware and ready. Right off of that door over here is the volunteer room. This is where there'll be snacks and waters. If you are not a buddy and you need to take a break, you can come and hang out in here for a second. Just make sure you're not leaving anyone else, like leaving no one to the spot that you're in. So say there are 3 people. If 2 of you want to go take a break, okay, but don't all 3 of you go take a break together. So that is pretty much all of that information. It'll make more sense, and there will be signage when you're in there. And after the red carpet, after everybody does the red carpet, all the red carpet people will leave. So if you're only doing red carpet, you will also leave. If you are a backup buddy and you do not get a guest, you will stay and become a floater. If you are a red carpet person who is also doing another role, then you can stay and float too. But mostly all the red carpet people will leave. We will pick up the red carpet and this will become an open area. After everybody eats, the dinner area gets also picked up and cleaned up in the middle. We'll still leave some tables on the side, but everyone will be back in here at 8:40 for the crowning ceremony. So, red carpet walk. It'll be located in the main lobby. There will be 50 to 60 people on the outside, known as paparazzi. Our MC will be announcing every single guest. You'll hand the red carpet assistant the name card and your lanyard. And if you want to walk with them, and if they want you to walk with them, you can. Also, I should have said that. If the guest is noise sensitive, tell the MC or the red carpet assistant so that they can quiet the crowd. And everybody who's doing red carpet, make sure you pay attention to that MC because we don't want to overstimulate somebody. So you can do like spirit fingers or something like that, but no screaming and yelling if it's somebody who is sensitive to the loud noises. There are photographs, and the photographs were being uploaded at the end of the night. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do that yet, but we're going to try and do it to one space so we don't have to send it to each person. We want to remove the name tags. There are photo assistants. You guys will be in there helping to do that, helping to keep our guests patient in the situation that they're in. And you will just kind of gauge whether or not, if somebody's having a hard time waiting in a line, whether or not they need to go to another space. If, for instance, the red carpet gets really long and we need to move people to portraits or something like that, even before dinner, this is a great way to do that because we need every single guest to get a photo. Even if they don't seem to want one, we're not going to force them, but we're going to highly encourage that they do it because their parents are going to love it. They look amazing. There's no better time. Dinner is in the main auditorium. So this is extremely important. You need to know your guests' allergies and food restrictions if you're a buddy. You are responsible for telling the table host their allergies and yours if you have any. We cannot provide pureed food or GI tube food and tell the caregivers this beforehand. We have let them all know, they should know, but just to reiterate, you have all been sent your guest information. Please review that. And on the name tags, I did put reminders for things like seizures, diabetic, asthma, stuff like that, like super important information. But otherwise, make sure that you know this. Table host, it's your responsibility to convey this information from the buddy to the food servers. So pay very close attention to that. As far as food, just so you guys know, we're having Chick-fil-A. There will be nuggets and macaroni and cheese and salad and and fruit, and then brownies and cookies. But for our gluten-free individuals, we are having gluten-free buns and grilled chicken. And for our diabetics and sugar like resistance, I don't know the better word for that. Sorry, guys. Pre-diabetic maybe. We have some sugar-free options of goodies and like pastries and stuff being made. And then we also have some wraps that are vegetarian in option coming from Clean Eats. And I think we might get something from Maple Biscuit Company too. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we have a lot of options. And then there are going to be a lot of snacks outside too. So make sure you know whether or not your buddy can have these snacks because there will be popcorn and chips and stuff like that. So just be careful with knowing what they need. Sometimes it'll say whether or not they need like smaller bites or whatever. You do not have to feed the guest if you are not comfortable doing so. We can have the caregiver come down if that is something that the guest needs. But just know that anything that makes you uncomfortable makes us uncomfortable, like he said. So you do not have to do anything that feels uncomfortable to you. So there's no need to rush your guest, but we do have plenty of tables. But if they are done, we want to encourage them to not just sit there the whole night. There is karaoke happening in there, so they'll want to be in there a little bit. But at the same time, we want everybody to get up and explore all of the different activities. So again, make sure if you're getting popcorn treats, non-dinner food items that you check to see if they can be consumed by your guests based on their dietary needs. Everything should be labeled, but if not, and your guest has allergies, just avoid it. And we are also having a dirty soda bar, and that is just flavored sodas, but apparently she has some sugar-free options as well. So just make sure that you're not going to just say, oh, no, you can't do that, because we have tried to make it inclusive for every single person. And unfortunately, there can only be one serving of the meals. So that's why we also want to have snacks for everyone so that they can go around and see what they want. Watch guests who like to sneak food. At the end of the night, every single guest will be crowned king or queen. At the end of the night at 8:40, there will only be the one time. So if you are a buddy, you need to get in there. I recommend that As many people as can get in there, get in there. Like if there are no other guests out in your area and you want to come in to see this, it's pretty epic. It's going to be in the main auditorium A, and there's a video, and every single guest gets crowned by their buddy. So when you first get in there as a buddy, grab the crown, but don't put it on them, and it is not for you. So wait till the end. Limo rides. Everybody that can get a limo ride, we would like them to do so. If your guest uses a wheelchair for mobility, please know whether they can be transferred. It was put on the paper that you guys received, but if not, then make sure that you check with the parent or caregiver. We have the appointment cards for this and the photos and everything. If it gets really long, we'll just write a little appointment card and give it to you, and then you'll be able to come back. These are all the different things that we're trying to offer: dancing, karaoke, limo rides, photographers, photo booths, photo ops with celebrities, caricatures, games, popcorn treats, balloon artists, and face painting. We are going to have, I'm not sure whether it's Buzz Lightyear or Batman, but one of them will be here. And we are going to have Beyonce and Taylor Swift, and we're going to have some princesses. So it's a really big deal. We're going to have a stilt walker. So try and get your guests to be able to see all of these different things and just take part in it yourself. It's pretty epic. All right. At the end of the night, we need the guests to get picked up. Text the parent or the caregiver and tell them where you are in the building. If you want to ahead of time arrange a meeting spot, at the end of the night, all of the entrances and exits will be kind of open. So you can kind of divide and conquer that way to make it a little bit easier. But make sure that they have their giveaway bag and take your stuff out of it and put your lanyard back near the door so that we can reuse those. Do not leave the guest ever, ever, ever until they are in the parent or caregiver's care. And try not to let them go with somebody that is someone different that you met at registration. Because if you don't know who this person is, we don't trust that. So keep the guests with you. And if the caregiver tells you in the beginning of the night, oh, my husband will be picking up or something like that, make sure they give you the phone number so you can confirm. Leave your personal belongings at home, park behind the building, and fill in the gravel lot. Leave the best spaces for our guests, parents, and caregivers. Carpool if you can. And remember that you need to get there between 4:30 and 4:45, which has you arriving at 5 in the building and registering. And 6:15 if you're a buddy arriving with your guests. And non-buddy volunteers, 5 or whatever your leader has told you, because hair and makeup, that'll be a little bit different. All right, I'm gonna play some more videos.
When it comes to serving individuals with disabilities and their families, it's important not to lose sight of the thing you're actually setting out to do: serving the person. Sure, there are logistical pieces to making Night to Shine an unforgettable celebration, from decor and catering to photography and limos. But when you get right down to it, all you're doing is making sure you're setting the stage well enough to give you the opportunity to serve the individual and to serve them well. And that all starts with building relationships. Building relationships is key to serving those with disabilities, and we don't need to look any further than to Jesus and the life he led on earth to figure out the best way to go about doing that. Jesus wasn't just a man for the people, but he was a man with the people. He continually went into the margins, sat down with the woman at the well, immersed himself with the crowd and with those who others set aside to see eye to eye with people. He's a Jesus who goes into the margins to be with his people. It was always about more than service with him. It was authentic relationship. So how do we do that? How do we build authentic relationships with our brothers and sisters with disabilities? When we are approaching that new friend with disabilities, we start by seeing the whole person, welcoming them with open arms, finding out what their likes and interests are, and finding things that you can personally connect with about. That's how building a relationship starts. It's about erasing the idea in our head about service provider and service recipient and just seeing ourselves as people. Two people who both equally reflect the image of God, who both belong to each other as brothers and sisters in Christ, and who are both made for relationship. Remove that barrier, and the rest is familiar territory. It's connecting relationally with another person, spending time in communion with someone else. Just like your family and the social circles you keep, the way that we build these relationships can sometimes look different. We all have the friend who is quieter and likes to do more listening than talking. We all have the friend who is the exact opposite, who talks a lot And if you can't think of who that person is in your friend circle, that means you're likely that friend. The same goes when we're building relationships with people with disabilities. Let me give you a variety of contexts and examples to help you. First, we may know someone who uses alternate modes of communication. Maybe doesn't speak with their mouth, but utilizes nods or hand gestures or eye gazing. My goal is still to build rapport and build relationship. That's the exact place I want to start and end. It may just mean that I'll be carrying more of the conversation, or maybe changing up my dialogue slightly to provide more opportunities for yes or no responses. I'm still there and in it in the conversation, still very present, still asking about your day, making eye contact and connection, telling a joke here or there. These are the things that you do when you're trying to build relationships with a person. And the foundation of that, of building connection, of being relational, of being intentional, remains the same. Next, if you have the opportunity to meet someone at Night to Shine who is accompanied by a provider, whether it's a personal support worker, interpreter, or even a parent, be sure to still fix your eyes on the person, not the provider. Treat it as any other conversation. Ask questions, respond, and simply keep your eyes on the one who you're building a relationship with. In addition, some friends with special needs may occasionally need a little more time to think about your question or to verbalize their answer. Give them all the time they need to talk with you. Don't try to answer for them. Be patient and not in a hurry. It's okay to ask someone with a disability to repeat themselves as well. This shows that you're truly interested in what they have to say and you're ready to work together to figure it out. A dear friend of mine uses a wheelchair for mobility, and I've learned a lot from her worth sharing as well. There are some important things to understand when you approach a friend in a wheelchair. First, don't assume that you can come up and lean on or touch the wheelchair. Always ask first. This is an important tool that they rely on, so show respect by always asking first. Second, when you're communicating with a friend in a wheelchair, find a way to be on their level so you can look them in the eye, so they're not having to adjust their view of you or strain to see you. Lastly, don't assume by allowing you to touch their wheelchair means they authorize you to push them all over the place. My friend Naomi has had too many bad drivers and was nervous with other people in control of her mobility. Again, always ask. We're all made in the image of God, all made with our own strengths and needs. Someone communicating in a different way, or thinking about things in a different way, or understanding things in a different way. Those don't equate to barriers hindering our ability to build a relationship with that person. There is still plenty of relationship to be had. A friend of mine has cerebral palsy, and his expressive language can be tough to understand. What isn't difficult to understand is his love of sports, however. So by establishing context and picking up on some key words that I hear Lucas say about his favorite team or about the game last night, I might not be receiving every word he is saying, but understanding the context has helped me pick up on part of it and gives me some good questions to throw back at him to gain further context and understand him even more, to get to know him even more and understand him even better. I now know my friend better through growing and understanding him, knowing what interests him, celebrating with him, and so much more as I've pursued relationship with him, with the person that he so distinctly is. No matter who comes down that Night to Shine red carpet this year, we aren't going to know the best way to serve them until we get to know them first. And just like anyone else in our lives, the best way to get to know them is to sit with them, to talk with them, to show them authentic care and attention, and engage with them on a personal level. Remember that everything starts with relationship. To recognize the person in front of you as someone fearfully and wonderfully made by God, just like you, recognize the mutuality of this, what they have to offer you as well, and taking the steps to make a personal connection. This is how we love and serve like Jesus, and this is how we grow into relationship with others.
All right. Let me see if I can figure out how to get off this slide. I did it. Okay. So a reminder, we want to use the person first language. We put the emphasis on the individual, not on the disability. So you would say the woman is blind rather than the blind woman, or the person in a wheelchair rather than the wheelchair bound person. I also say, like he said, a person who uses a wheelchair for mobility, because I don't know, it sounds like an extension of the person, which it's not. We want to think outside the box. We want to remember that our chronological age does not necessarily mean the developmental age. And nonverbal does not mean that they don't understand you. And a person using a wheelchair does not mean they can't dance, go in the photo booth, or that they necessarily can't go in the limo, etc. You can dance around the wheelchairs, and wheelchairs can be spun. As far as the wheelchairs with the limo, that information should have been on the paper that you were sent as well as a buddy. So just know that we want to make sure that we know whether or not they can be transferred if their parents are okay with that. We want to respect their privacy. Social media, please do not friend your guest or give them your cell phone number unless you know them personally or they say that it's okay. If posting pictures, please don't put any last names, and make sure that you get the parent or caregiver's permission first, and make sure you blur out name tags. Technically, every single person has given us a social media release, so there isn't anything illegal happening, but it's just not right unless you know what is happening. And like that other guy said in the very beginning, this is not that we're bragging on social media about something that we did that was super amazing, right? We want these people to have a great time. And we want to honor and respect who they are. And I want you to know that if you give them your cell phone number and if you friend them on Facebook, that you are opening yourself up to that, you're not going to close it down. That is not something that I want you to do. I have a friend, Ashley, who is incredible. And she was my buddy the first year that I did it. And we are still amazing friends. She's coming this one, and she texts me often, and we respond. I respond every single time. Not necessarily immediately because I have 2 young children, but I'm not going to leave her hanging. So please know that before you do that, you know what you're getting yourself into. Set the boundary if it's not something you want to continue. Be yourself, find common interests, be patient, give your guests time to process and answer. Do not alter your voice or speak in a childish manner. One of the videos in here, you'll see, in my opinion, she is the best example of this, but we're not going to be like, hi, how are you? Oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. Please do not do that. It is ridiculous, and you look ridiculous when you do it. So remember that these are mostly adults. Even if they have a cognitive age and a chronological age that are different, we don't need to treat them like children. If they have trouble understanding, we need to make sure that we speak a little bit slower and use simple literal language. This does not mean like getting louder and succinct, like, are you having a good time? That's just as rude. So we just want to slow down. I speak really quickly. I'm sure you guys are all noticing that right now. So I have to slow myself down a lot. It's okay to ask them to repeat themselves. Just watch for their frustration level. And many of our guests like to know what is going to happen in advance. So tell them what you're getting ready to do. Rather than being like, let's go to the photo op while they're eating dinner, be like, hey, maybe after we eat dinner, would you like to go take a portrait? So that they can kind of get in the headspace. If your guest is in a wheelchair, get on their eye level and talk to them. If your guest has a hearing loss or is deaf, face them when you're speaking. This allows them to see your face and lips if they can read lips. And speak kindly at all times. We want to watch our mouths. We're in a church, folks. Jesus is there. He is watching. We don't need to be cussing. Even if you're not directly with a guest, we don't need any of that. Speech is not the only form of communication. And don't assume that they don't understand if they're just not responsive. Ask the parent or caregiver how the guest communicates, and watch and learn to see how they communicate, and listen in other ways. But primarily, do not ignore them. Just because they are not responding in the way that you thought they would does not mean that they're not having a good time or are processing the information. Sometimes our guests are just more reserved. I am a super loud person. My guest, my second year, was very quiet. So I learned that he actually preferred the quiet. So believe it or not, I shut my mouth. So it was really hard, but it made for a better night for him. So just make sure that you're remembering that they are the most important part and that we are just here to love on them. They may not be able to communicate verbally, so we want to be able to watch what they're doing and kind of be able to tell what they're thinking. They may prefer to be alone, and they might tell you or pull you away from crowded areas or situations. This is not personal. Do not force them to participate, but ask them to watch and let them feel out the situation. If they're getting overstimulated in large groups, they might be agitated or flapping their hands or pacing or look kind of scared. Then you can find situations with fewer people or go to the sensory room for a reset. Or if they're pulling away when touched or doesn't want to show affection, this is not personal either. They may just have a sensory need. Be respectful of their space. And that last one, I think that's kind of a good rule for everyone. Like, don't touch people, like unless you know they want it. That's just, we don't, especially at church, we do side hugs, stuff like that. We don't need to be touching people. Um, if your guest does not appear to understand, you can demonstrate the activity or physically show them. If they do not seem to follow the direction immediately, you can use more simple language and repeat, but again, not in a condescending manner. If they don't hear you, you can repeat and rephrase. And if they do not seem to understand how to participate in the activity or are anxious or scared about it, you can break it down into similar or simpler terms, or let someone else go first and kind of show them. Don't let the fear of saying something wrong prevent you from interacting with individuals who have disabilities. If you are unsure of what to say at first, simply say hello or I'm glad to see you. And remember that a warm smile and eye contact conveys that you see them and that they are important to you and most important to Jesus. Be teachable and be willing to be corrected. I just learned this year that we are not supposed to say special needs anymore, that we are supposed to say disabilities. And I've been having a really hard time with that, but I'm trying really hard to learn it to make sure that I'm not hurting anybody's feelings or offending anyone. So the Tim Tebow Foundation, as you've seen on here, still uses special needs, but that's what I wanted to just convey as an example of that. Like, if you say something and someone checks you on it, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Just shift and keep going. And know that these people are just as uncomfortable being around you that they don't know as you are being around them. And as far as your personal space, it's okay for you to say, can you take a step back, or I need a little room, because guests with this issue have heard this before. You can maintain your own physical boundaries. We in no way encourage your guests to view you as their boyfriend or girlfriend. This is not a date. And if you get in an uncomfortable situation, just ask for help. You will find the blue shirts for that. But like he said, when you're uncomfortable, we're uncomfortable. So make sure that, if it gets a little weird, that you start with saying what your needs are and then get help. If they are socially inappropriate with others, remind them of expectations of the event, review the rules often and model correct behavior. If there is any aggressive behavior, ask for help. Those are the blue shirts. We also have 5 police officers who are on staff the night of, and we have a security team and a ton of individuals that'll be helping. So they know how to de-escalate the situation. We do not. So make sure that we are not just stepping in based on what we think we should do, that we're asking the people who know what to do. If we already went over the wheelchairs, getting on their level, don't assume that they can or don't like to do things. If you have a slow walker, allow them to hold your arm if need be, especially going up or down the stairs. We don't really have any stairs for them to go on, but there are a lot of places that could be tripping hazards, so just be careful with that. And then the limos, we do have people who, like, that is their service, is they're helping transfer individuals, so you don't need to be doing that. But the guests in the wheelchairs must have approval from the guardian to ride. And this one is very important. Remember, some guests have girlfriends and boyfriends here. Respect them as a couple, but make sure the behavior is appropriate, especially for the dance floor people. We do have at least one couple that I know of. So we want to make sure that they're keeping room for Jesus and no purple. If a guest is covering their ears or twirling or wandering around the room or leaving the room, we want to be paying attention to those different things and making sure that we are trying to help the guest for whatever it is that is happening that is causing them to have this behavior. We want to kind of rein it in a little bit, like especially if they're taking up space that might encroach on someone else's space, because other guests might have different needs. So just kind of help keep them in your trajectory. If a guest needs a little break, the sensory room is available. There will be some sensory items in there, and it is meant to be a calm, quiet environment. Please help keep it that way. And is this our next video? Yeah, if this is the girl, I'm sorry in advance.
Have you ever been to prom or a big fancy event like a wedding? Then you can probably remember how you felt. Excited, but also a bit nervous or anxious. Maybe you felt a little uncomfortable in your new fancy clothes. It's helpful to remember that our honored guests will probably have a lot of those same feelings. Our nervous system can be on heightened alert when we are anxious, scared, or overstimulated. Some people have difficulty regulating their nervous systems, so unfamiliar places and big events can make sensory regulation even more difficult. That's why there will be a calm space or a sensory room at every Night to Shine location. A calming space like the sensory room gives our nervous system a chance to regulate so we can get back out on the dance floor. So, you may be asking yourself, how do I know if someone is getting overstimulated or if their nervous system is dysregulated? When should we use the calm space or the sensory room? Well, here are some things to look for. Watch for someone covering their ears or eyes. If an honored guest looks uncomfortable because of too much sensory input, offer noise-reducing headphones, sunglasses, or even a hat to shield their ears and eyes. You can also offer to go with them to the calm space or sensory room to get a break from the crowd, noise, and lights. Take notice of sudden change in mood or behavior for no apparent reason. For example, they may suddenly get very quiet and tired, or they may get very hyper, talkative, and loud. Also look for quick, shallow breathing, like hyperventilating. Or if someone is suddenly sweating, hot, flushed, or red in the face for no apparent reason. Of course, you don't have to worry too much if it's just a case of the disco fever. Also, notice if they are distressed by being touched, accidentally bumped, or feeling crowded by people. Pay attention to indications or mentions of physical discomfort, like a stomach ache, nausea, complaints that their ears hurt, or a headache. Definitely get away from the crowds, music, and lights if someone is trembling, shaking, or their heart is racing, or if they suddenly get tense and stiff and panicky, anxious, scared, or have wide eyes. These are all indications that they may need the calm space or sensory room. You may be wondering what causes this. When our nervous system gets overloaded, it affects our whole body. It starts in our brain when we get too much sensory information coming in, and the brain perceives that information as a threat. So our brain prepares our body for survival mode, which is also called fight, flight, or freeze. This is a neurological response and not a behavior. The person can't help it. This is why we need to help our honored guests get away from the overload of sensory input and go to a calm, quiet place to rest and calm their nervous system. If you see any of the signs of sensory overload I just mentioned, offer to escort your honored guest to the calm space or sensory room to get some relief. Here are some ideas of how to transition to the calm space or sensory room. Describe the calm space or sensory room and suggest going there in a set amount of time. You could say something like, the calm space is really comfortable and cozy. We can go check it out after this song. Or you can use a social story. For example, the calm space or sensory room is for relaxing and resting. It has comfy couches and chairs. It is a nice, quiet place. We can play a game or use the fidgets. We can take a break there. Or maybe you can suggest making a delivery to the calm space or sensory room. For example, can you help me take these cold drinks to the calm space? Now, here are some ideas of what to do in the calm space or sensory room. Rest and relax. Have a cold drink. Get comfortable. Your guests may want to unbutton their collar, take off their tie, loosen a belt, or take off their shoes. Allow honored guests to talk, but limit your talking. Quiet is calming. If you do talk, use a soft, slow voice. Show guests around the room and encourage them to choose something to help them relax, such as headphones, a fidget, a weighted item, or something to cool down. If you like, model putting a cold pack on your own face, neck, or chest and encourage your guests to try it with you. Join guests in a quiet game or activity of their choice. Model slow, deep breathing, such as this squeeze and breathe technique, and encourage our honored guests to try it with you. Slowly squeeze each finger and thumb while taking a long, slow, deep breath with each squeeze, like this.
Bear with me, guys.
Try a grounding technique. Grounding can help relieve anxiety, racing thoughts, or help a person feel more in the present if they feel disconnected or dissociated. Practice grounding by asking guests to think about 3 different things that they can see, hear, and feel. For example, what are 3 things you see? I see a game and a pretty picture and a cute stuffed animal. What are 3 things you hear? I hear soft music, someone breathing, and a clock ticking. What are 3 things you feel? I feel a cozy blanket, a squishy fidget, and a fluffy rug. The calm space or sensory room is great for getting regulated, but of course we want to be a part of the party as much as possible. So here are 4 ways to help prevent sensory overload and stay regulated so our honored guest doesn't miss a moment of the fun. Here are some things you can do while you're out on the dance floor to stay regulated. Number 1, watch for sensory overload and reduce sensory input as needed. Remember to pay attention if your honored guests cover their ears or eyes or complain of the noise, lights, or feeling crowded. Offer noise-reducing headphones, sunglasses, or a hat to shield their ears and eyes. You can also offer to go with them to the calm space or sensory room if needed. Number 2, try some heavy pressure. Remember, heavy pressure helps regulate the nervous system. Dancing, jumping, clapping, and stomping can be regulating. So these are great things to do on the dance floor. You can also show them easy ways to get heavy pressure. Have them press down on their heads for 10 slow counts. They can give themselves a big hug or press their hands together like this really hard or push on a wall. Number 3, try some slow, deep breathing. Show them how to blow on their thumb like this. If you have them available, blow a pinwheel, a party blower, bubbles, or do the squeeze and breathe strategy together. Number 4, cold and ice is also calming. Get an ice cold drink, eat cold foods, or hold and play with ice. Most of all, enjoy a tremendous evening together. Get to know your honored guests and try to put yourself in their dancing shoes for a moment. Empathize, be aware of their needs, and have a fantastic night together.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. She is not my favorite, but whew, she's done. All right. She's kind of what I was saying about how not to talk to guests. So, God love her, but I have a headache. So I just want to remind everybody that a lot of this seems like it's for buddies only. And I mean, it is, but at the same time, every single one of you is going to be interacting with a guest. So I want to make sure that you know how to do this so that you're able to talk to the guests, be with the guests, and help a buddy go to the bathroom or something, for instance. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that. Speaking of the bathroom, look at that segue. Always walk a guest to the bathroom. Do not send them alone because our guests are to never, ever, 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 ever be alone. It says that there are designated bathrooms for like the ones that need help, but There are nurses at both of the bathrooms, so they will be the ones doing the toileting, especially if your guest is not able to do so by themselves. Make sure that you know that information. It should have been on the guest card that you looked at. We do have somebody who is supposed to be cleaning the bathrooms night up, so we don't have to worry about any of that. If you have a buddy of the opposite sex, knock on the bathroom door for assistance and wait for them outside the door. We will have doctors, nurses, EMTs, and police officers on staff. If you have an emergency, immediately ask someone around you to find a bright orange shirt. Stay with your guest and we'll get the medical assistance immediately, and try your best to stay calm. Do not try to fix any of the situations by yourself. We don't expect you to know how to do it or to do it. We have people who will do it. And if you need something, like if something doesn't feel right or you're uncomfortable or whatever, such as explicit comments, inappropriate touching, signs of affection, signs of aggression, or medical distress, you can get a blue shirt. I'm going to say too, the aggression, that maybe just let the cops handle that, because we don't necessarily know the best ways to do that, and we don't want to be putting our hands on anybody. So know your limits. We want to remember to put the person first. This is their night. It should be about them and what they want to do. They are not their disability. They are first and foremost a child of God. They are wonderfully made, and they are a person with the exact same feelings as you. Do not leave your guests unattended ever. And no texting during the event, please, guys. Like, y'all need to just hang out and be a part of the event. Another video.
What's up, everybody? I am Tim Tebow, and we are so excited for this year's Night to Shine. Night to Shine is truly our favorite night of the year, not just because of the joy that is so present at each event, but because it's a reflection, we believe, of the heart of God and the good news of the gospel. Night to Shine is a reminder that every person has inherent worth and every life has a purpose. A reminder that we are made in God's image and we are deeply, deeply loved by Him. One of our non-negotiables at TTF is that there is power when we come together. Night to Shine is evidence of that. When we come together for one mission, to celebrate and honor individuals with special needs, we reflect God's heart for all people. There is so much power in that. Whether you're a parent or a caregiver of a Night to Shine king or queen who selflessly cares for your loved one, you're a host church congregation that puts love into action, or you're a volunteer who helps make this night happen, you are super important to Night to Shine and to the Night to Shine family. And we are so thankful for you. You truly are the hands and the feet of Jesus. And a night like this is not possible without you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for partnering with us to celebrate so many incredible kings and queens at Night to Shine. We are so grateful for you, and we could not do this without you. God bless you, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
We did it. All right, so there's a QR code here. If you feel like it, you can scan it. It does help us to take attendance in addition to the registration. There are a couple of questions to answer. I'm going to keep talking. I think you guys got it. If you didn't, it's not a big deal. No, I feel like I need to go back. Okay, here it is again, one more time. If you don't have two devices, that's fine. We will make it work. But if you can, this is helpful. I'm sorry, I go too fast. All right, so thank you for your servant heart. We love you, we appreciate you, and we are so glad that you have made a difference in somebody's life. And now I need to figure out how to get off of this. I'm going to just hit stop share. Hey, I did it. Okay. So thank you guys for staying with me. I know this is a lot. A couple reminders. We want to arrive between 4:30 and 4:45. Unless you're like, Freddie, I see you there. Unless you're Freddie, then obviously you'll be there a little bit earlier, stuff like that. If you're setting up, you can be there a little bit earlier. But we're going to park over at the Manchester lot. We're going to have that bus bring us over. We're going to make sure that we are registered and signed in by 5:15 at the absolute latest and in our spot. And dress comfortably. You're going to be walking around and hanging out all night. Oh, I see a baby. And we're going to dress for our respective teams. So if you are a greeter, please wear all black. If you are pretty much any other team, you're going to wear a white shirt and black pants. Info desk, you'll wear blue shirt. Medical team, orange shirt. And security, I believe you guys might be all black. But I mean, honestly, if you don't know, then wear white and black or all black. It's pretty low key there. We just want to make sure that you're not having to buy anything that you don't already own, but we also want all of the you were being abused there, Sophie. I love this. Um, we want to make sure that our buddies are dressed to impress. So we're gonna have all of our Lancer dancers in their cute outfits on the red carpet. And I love how that just rhymes and sounds so great together. So yeah, I think that there are a million messages that I haven't seen. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying these kind things. I have no idea what I'm doing. We're going to do some breakouts now. If you don't know where we're going to be going, then you can just hang out and I will get to you. I don't know how to do the breakouts, so maybe Alex needs to go. Hey, look at this. Look at that. Boom.
You should be able to pick which one you want to go into. So down at the bottom, you should have like a box that just showed up that shows all the different options of the different breakout rooms that we've got. And some people are all in one. So read through the options there. Aaron, there were a few questions lots of questions about attire. So medical team is in orange shirts.
Right. That I will give you night of if I don't see
Head volunteers are in blue shirts.
And info
And
desk is
then
also
if somebody is a buddy and they're paired up with a buddy, they should be in fancy clothes,
Yes.
like they're going to the party.
Formal attire. Yes.
What if they are a backup buddy?
Again, so they can come in their formal attire, and if they would like to, they can bring clothes because we might have last minute cancellations and stuff. We have people dropping like flies every day. So if you want to dress ahead in that, then you can, dress up and then bring clothes to change.
Okay, so they should bring clothes to change. And then several questions about the folks who are doing parking and limo.
Yeah.
What they should wear.
Oh, black. Black is fine.
Okay.
Coats, warm.
Okay.
Stay warm. Ethan, you don't need a breakout. You're good, Ethan. Be buzz wherever you want.
Thank you.
Yep. Red carpet, wear whatever you want as well. I don't care. Just, Jesus. Buddies, there is no further information unless you have any other questions.
I've got to go to my breakout room. So you are a co-host and you can stay in this room, Aaron,
Okay.
and I'll come back. But
I don't know do I have a room I need to go to, or is this, I just stay here with the medical people?
yeah, I think you just stay here.
Okay, cool. All right. Have fun in your room.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I had to get a few folks into their breakout room who weren't sure where to go. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining tonight. You don't have to come on camera. I know it's like 7:40 and most of us are probably snowed in with all kinds of things going on in the background. I had mine coming in the whole time. So I am Alex Adsit. I'm one of the people who's helping with the event, keeping Erin as sane as we possibly can with all of the things that she's got going on. The responsibilities that I am managing for the event are the giveaway bags that each guest will receive, t-shirts that each guest will receive, t-shirts that the volunteers are receiving, and then all of the folks who are doing the red carpet and paparazzi role for the night of the event. So we are like the hype crew. We are there to give out fun things and smile and welcome all of the guests to the event and welcome them down the red carpet. And once that red carpet area is done, once most of the guests are is my sound weird? Hold on, let me switch it over. Be better. We'll see. Is that one better?
Sounds good.
You're good. Okay. Maybe I'm getting the messages from the main room. Once the red carpet is all wrapped up and we have all of our guests who want to come down the red carpet, come down and get their pictures taken and all that kind of stuff, we'll be able to pack up that space and put it away, and then you're free to to go if you'd like to, or you're free to also hang out and float and help with other spaces at the event too if you want to stay and stick around. Um, does anyone have any does anybody have any specific questions about their role or about what to wear, what time to arrive, or any of those things? You should have gotten an email from the volunteer coordinator, Marissa, with some pretty detailed stuff, but I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all might have.
So as a non-buddy volunteer, we park at Manchester High School and take the bus over. Is that the deal?
Yes, Claire, that's a really great question.
And then will they be, if we're done, will they be waiting to take us back, just throughout the evening?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So we're hoping that parking is not an issue, but we're asking that volunteers who are able to park over at Manchester High School and get bused over, and then we will have that bus available to take people back when their shifts are done. So there shouldn't be any issues there. And yeah, so hopefully that works. And if you have any issues with that, I mean, I know that we're concerned about parking, but we've got plenty of people there too to be able to drive people over too. If you can carpool, that's great. Like if you know somebody else who's volunteering, and you all can ride together, that's also another great option too. If you do park on site at the church, like if you're there doing multiple roles and you're there for setup and all that kind of stuff early on in the day, they're just asking us to park in that gravel lot that like when you come around the side of the church, where like the offices and the modulars are on your right and you kind of loop around with the church on your left, there's a gravel parking lot up in the back there that they'd like us to park on, if possible.
I didn't get a email from Marissa.
Oh no, okay. Carol, I will write your name down and I will follow up with her. Did anybody else get the email?
I did not get that either.
I did not get an email either.
What? Okay. So Carol Wood, Carol Coffin, and sorry, who was that?
Denise Pendleton.
Okay. I'll hunt it down.
I got all the others about the Zoom, but not anything else about details.
Okay.
Same with me.
I didn't either.
Same with me.
Debbie
Okay,
Swenson.
we've got a problem then because literally all of y'all are saying that you didn't get an email.
Yeah, I never got one either. Night to Shine email. So maybe if you guys are looking for a specific person to have sent it, it might not. Maybe that's the issue.
Yeah, it might have come from Night to Shine. We will track that down.
Alex, what time are guests arriving?
They are arriving at I think 6:45. Hold on, let me check. I don't want to get the numbers wrong. Hold on. Guests arrive at 5:45. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So
And
we
and what
arrive at
time?
like 5 o'clock.
I'm asking because we have an individual who's attending as a guest, and my husband and I are both going to be paparazzi. So I'm just wondering since we're bringing him, do we bring him with us at 5 o'clock, or should I come early and my husband come a little later? I'm just trying to figure how we should do that.
If you're bringing a guest, arriving closer to 6:15 is totally fine. Yeah, I don't think you need
5:15.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
If you're bringing, because most buddies with guests are not coming until 6:15. But if the buddy and the guest are coming together as a unit, they're not coming until 6:15. But if you're like serving in another role, then you can arrive close to that time too.
So I'm sorry, you're saying 6:15 or 5:15?
6:15.
Okay, but if we weren't, we were supposed to be there at 5, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Just to get all the last minute like setup stuff and things organized, but we don't want you to
because I don't think that they want a ton of guests like in the building until everything's ready to go. So if you wanted to
Hmm.
arrive closer to that 6:15 time frame, that should be totally fine and work.
Okay,
Just to
thank you.
confirm, oh, I'm sorry. Confirm white or black blouse and black pants.
You can wear that, yep, and you can be dressy and fancy because you might be in the background of some of the photos.
So you don't
That
want us to be in white or black?
you can wear all black if you'd like to, or you can dress fancy if you'd like to.
Oh,
The paparazzi specifically kind of has it either way you want it to
oh,
go.
okay, okay.
Is a
Because
black
you're,
dress okay?
yep, that would be great. Because you're as much of the like hype welcoming as the others are, yes. Sorry, I'm just seeing some of the other emails in the chat. Shannon, the bouncer category that Aaron told you about. So um, there's several guests who have identified like noise sensitivity and things like that. And so we're going to ask that some of the folks who are on the red carpet towards the beginning of it kind of serve in a capacity to help the rest of the line know if we have a guest that's coming through that needs to have a quieter walkthrough than kind of like a hyped up, cheering one. So we're going to put those bouncers at the beginning of the red carpet so that they can make sure they can kind of have a conversation with the buddy and say, hey, we need a quiet walkthrough, and then we can get that message to go down the line for everybody who is further down the line to be aware of that. And we'll also let the MC know that when they say their name over the microphone to welcome them. So that's what that bouncer flag means. And it doesn't just have to be Shannon, we'll have other people who are doing it too. Olivia, it's totally fine for you to come at 5:30. Yes. Catherine, if you want to bring signs or if you want to bring like a pom-pom or anything that is kind of like that hyped up kind of excitement thing. If it makes noise, we'll want to make sure that we, abide to any of those noise sensitivity things that I was just talking about. The only thing that we're asking is just don't bring anything that like makes a mess. So like no like confetti streamers or anything like that. But if you want to get like those like hand slapper things or those like I'm thinking of like football games where they have those like tubes that you can like smack together or whatever.
The big white foam fingers and that stuff.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be cute. And I'll ask, that's the first time that question's come up, so I'm really glad that you're asking that. I will ask Aaron if there's any budget to provide some of those things. Melissa, great question about the swag bag. You don't have to do anything for swag bag. I've been putting my 6-year-old and my 4-year-old to work over the last few weeks, and they're almost all done. So they're all hanging up in my closet here. They're almost assembled, and we'll be handing those out when buddies and guests check in at registration. So nothing like ahead of the event that you'll need to do. You'll just be one of those folks that's at the check-in table, making sure that the bag gets to the right person. And they're all labeled and they're all pre-stuffed. So with their like shirt and their name tag and all the stuff. So it should be a pretty easy handoff when the person gets there. I'm holding off as long as I can to label them and stuff them with shirts just because we've had some changes in guests and I don't want to like pre-stuff them and then have to change like 20 of them the week of. So I'm holding off as much as I can with anything that is specific to the guests. Carol, yes. You are welcome to wear a colorful top and be fancy if you'd like to, because you will be in the background of photos, or you can go for the volunteer outfit that was like all black I think is what they said. I'm wearing like an all black dress and an all black sweater. So it's not like, you know, I'm not going crazy, but I'm in all black still.
Question, what time does the event end?
So there is an 8:40 crowning ceremony in that main auditorium room where we'll have all the guests and all the buddies come back together to do kind of a crowning sash ceremony. That's at 8:40, and that's the last thing of the night. So the event officially ends at 9 p.m., and that's where we'll be getting all the guests out of the building. And then we will have our tear down crew come in and be start cleanup.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course. What time do we need to get there if we are helping set up? Melissa, so setup's going like the whole week.
Okay.
There's like a bunch of time slots that Aaron and Demetrius are getting confirmed with the church. And I think they're going to send that out ahead of time to like all volunteers to be able to help set up. But it's like the whole week there's time slots in the evenings. And then the whole day of is set up as well too. So I don't know about like exact times.
I think I saw a sign up Genius.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think, yeah.
That tracks.
There was. It came out a couple of weeks ago where you could sign up for setup.
Okay, let me
Sign
see.
up Genius.
Let's see if we can find that one. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. Here you go, Melissa. This one, that link should work for you. Oh, I'm sorry I'm broken up a few times if my sound is bad. I'm also like not feeling that great, so my throat is killing me. Arrival time, we should arrive at 5 p.m. unless you are bringing a buddy. And if you are bringing a guest. If you are bringing a guest, you are welcome to arrive closer to that 6:15 time. But if you are just a regular volunteer there to help with the event, arriving at 5, please. Hey, babe. I know, I'm almost done, okay? Just got a few more minutes with this. Okay, what else is in here that I haven't gotten to? I think that's all the questions here. It sounds like we definitely need to get an email out to all of you all who are in this like swag bag, red carpet paparazzi category. So I'll follow up with Marissa on that. I don't see anything else.
I just thought of a question.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm not considered, I thought I was paparazzi, but I'm red carpet. Do we take cell phone pictures and share them?
That's a great question. No, there's a whole photography crew that's going to be there. So there's like 6 or 7 people who are on photography. They're taking pictures and they're like loading them up to their own website. So you shouldn't have to take any pictures at all. I think the paparazzi thing is kind of like the
They're talking about tear down on Friday night.
Back to keep it on the photos. If I see friends, can I take a picture of them?
Yes.
Okay.
You can take pictures. The only thing that Aaron has mentioned about taking any photos with guests in it is to make sure that we have consent from the guests' caregiver that they're able to be shared and posted and things like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Carol Wood, did you have a question too? I heard you say something about tear down. Maybe not. It's okay. And Marie, I saw you unmuted. Did you have a question?
I did. Sorry, I don't have heat, so I'm all bundled.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, I talked briefly to Erin, and I'm a buddy, but when we talked, she was looking for an MC. Did she have me down as an MC?
Let me check. Would it be under? There it is. Okay, great. Yep, I have you as a red carpet MC.
Okay.
I don't know what that entails. I think it's just you saying the person's name as they're coming down. But we
Okay.
can confirm with her.
Okay. I just I'd worked the night to shine at the other and worked the red carpet.
Oh, so
So
you're
I
a
know what they
veteran.
I know what they did as the MC.
Oh, good. Then we don't
And
need
my
that.
friend Kelsey is on here as well, and she's gonna be so we're both kind of taking the buddy role because it's a student of ours that we had in the past.
Got
So
it. Okay, great.
that's what we're doing. But I would love more guidance on that. I guess I'll talk to Erin
I
about
will. I'm going to email her right now and ask her
how
about
she
that.
wants me to do that. And I'll be glad to get there earlier.
Okay.
Just so we can talk about how that'll look.
Okay. I'm going to email her, or I'll text her right after this and get her in touch with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Well, feel better.
Thanks. And stay warm. I'm not sure what Marissa's email entailed, but I will check and find out. I just saw that last question that came in. Of course, yes. All right, everyone. It is 8:00.
Good, let's go.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the time. And we're looking forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, feel free to email any of the emails that you all have gotten communications from, and Erin and others will be able to follow up with you all. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night. Thank you. We're
Thank
looking forward
you.
to seeing you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Erin. Oh, we're recording because